Pack your balls, pack your balls.
Hey, what's up guys? I want to do this video on how to pack a bowl, okay, for pipe smoking. Now let me start off by saying that there are dozens and dozens of really nice videos, very good, educational, informational, entertaining videos on how to pack a pipe, okay? I'm not the only person doing this, all right? But I do like to have my own version of it and talk about it a little bit, all right? So basically, if you're new to pipe smoking and you want to learn how to pack a pipe, there's several different ways you can go about it. Honestly, there's nothing wrong with just taking the tobacco and sticking it in the pipe. You know what I mean? I don't think there's a wrong way to pack a pipe, but there certainly is more efficient ways to pack a pipe. Now, if you pack it in a more efficient way, you will be more successful in smoking the pipe constantly, as opposed to relighting it, every 15 seconds. Okay, the idea of packing a pipe the proper way is so that everything is formed properly in there, and so your ember stays in contact the entire time with the tobacco. Therefore, you can take a couple puffs, put it down, leave it there for 5 or 10 minutes, whatever you want to do. Let's say you're engaging in conversation, or perhaps enjoying a drink, or watching a television show, whatever you're doing. You don't have to constantly be puffing on it. If you don't pack it properly and you just shove it in there, that's what you're going to do. Either you're going to have to constantly be pulling on it, and by pulling on it, I mean taking a drag and sucking in smoke to keep that lit, or you're going to have to constantly be lighting it, all right? And that's not fun, all right? The idea behind pipe smoking is pure relaxation and just enjoyment. It's not supposed to be work. It's not supposed to be frustrating. It's not supposed to be a big to-do. So anyway, like I said, at the end of the day, there's no right or wrong way to do this. Whatever works most successfully to you is the best way to do it. But I'm gonna give you a couple options here. All right, I'm gonna use some cherry mix for this. I'll put it on this piece of paper so you guys can see everything I'm doing. Now the first thing I can tell you is this is one way to do it, okay, is to put it on a tray. Some people have a smoking tray they'll use, or you can use a magazine, whatever, and then just do it this way, and then take your pinches and pack it. Another way to do it is if you store your tobacco in a bag or a jar, to simply dip the bowl right in there, scoop some up, and there you go, okay? Pack it, go in again, and do that until you have a full bowl. This is gonna be the most efficient way of doing it in the cleanest manner, okay? So it's not messy. By doing it the way I'm showing you here, it's more for demonstration purposes, but when I do this, I don't do it like this. I'll just dip the whole pipe right in, so this way I don't make it as much of a mess and there's not spillage, because you don't want little tobacco everywhere. Plus, you don't want to waste it. It's affordable, but it's not that affordable. Once you start getting into some more expensive blends, it's not terribly expensive, but the idea is not to waste any. Doesn't matter if it's cheap or not. So anyway, make sure I have an empty pipe here. Okay. So here's the method you're going to hear about the most old school method of doing this. It's really classy, and it's really cool way to think of it. It's something you probably won't forget once you learn it. But the idea here is it's basically a 3-stage packing process, okay? The first pack would be the tension or pressure of that in comparison to, say, shaking a child's hand, okay? You'll hear this very often in the pipe community, okay? The first pack is the pressure of shaking a child's hand. The second pack is the pressure of shaking a woman's hand. And then the final pack on top, or the third stage, you put down the pressure as if you're shaking a gentleman's hand, okay? Now, what am I talking about? What I'm saying is that you take a little pinch, and a lot of people do this with just your 3 fingers, okay? Take a pinch of tobacco and put it in the bowl, just like that. Now, when you loosely put it in the bowl, it will fill the bowl, okay? But this doesn't mean you're ready to go. This is way too lightly packed. It's not gonna work properly. So what you wanna do is push it down and pack it. Now you could pack it with your finger, or you can use your tamper, it doesn't matter either way. Most of the time I use my finger to pack a pipe. But the idea behind this is that the first time you push this down, you don't cram it down all the way. You push it down lightly. The second time you push it down a little bit more firm. And the third time, even more firm. Why would you do it like that? Is because if you push the first one down really tight, and then the second one really tight, and you keep doing that, your bowl's gonna be way too tight. If you put the first one in lightly, and then the second one a little bit harder, what you're doing is, as you're compressing the second layer, that first layer is just starting to compress. So by the time the third layer is compressed, all the tobacco from the bottom of the bowl to the top of the bowl is evenly packed. Okay, so if you have an evenly packed bowl, there's no spaces of air, there's no air pockets, it's not going to go out as easily. It will be very consistent, and you'll have that ember in contact with the tobacco all the way down the bowl. Okay, so it will not go out on you. That's the whole idea behind it. But the great way to remember that is that, you know, as if you're shaking a child's hand, you're not going to grip really hard. You're going to give a nice delicate shake. For a woman, it may not be as light as a child's shake, but it's definitely not going to be a big, hearty, manly shake either. So the very classy way to remember that, and it is such a distinctive mini story, really, that it is hard to forget, and that's something I'll never forget. But the first pack, like I said, loosely drop it in there, pack it down as if you're shaking a child's hand. The second one, you pack it down a little bit firmer as if you're shaking a woman's hand. And then the final one, you pack down the firmest of the three, but not really cramming it anywhere, but you pack it down as if you're shaking a man's hand, okay? Now, once you get to your last pack, what I do is I turn it over, give it a couple little taps here. All right, so any loose tobacco falls out. Anything that does not fall out means it's kind of entangled in the inside of the pipe. Now, depending on how much you pinch here, 3 may not fill your bowl. Also, there's plenty of different size pipes. There's giant pipes that are literally huge, okay? That's why they're called giant pipes. So they have a larger, deeper bowl. Some bowls are wider. So it's not always 3 pinches is going to be enough. You may do this 4 or 5 times. But the concept is that each time you do it, you push down just a little bit harder so you have a consistent pack on here. Now what I like to do, and I'm going to actually remove this tobacco and repack it to show you what I do. Just take off the top layer a little bit here. All right, so when I put my last pinch in here, what I will do is after I pack it a little bit and knock off that extra, make sure it's all in the bowl and not sticking out. I'll put my thumb over the top, okay, and I give this a spin. And I will rotate this around about 5 or 6 times. And by spinning, some of the loose will fall out, that's okay. But by spinning and turning my finger around like this, I'm twisting all the tobacco on the inside, and this entangles everything, okay? For me, what this does is all the tobacco that's in there is now being twisted within itself, okay? So you have maximum contact from tobacco to tobacco. So when the ember is burning on that top layer, instead of hitting a pocket of air, or loose tobacco, because everything's kind of twisted together, it will continue to stay lit. I've had great success with this method, okay? It doesn't matter how you pack it. When you get to that end, give it a little spin. Now this is a play off of another packing method, which is very labor intensive, and it's almost a ritual. And I forget the exact name of that thing, but you can look it up if you wish, but honestly, I don't think it makes a difference. Just pack it however it's going to work for you. This is the most common amongst the pipe smoking community. It is the most efficient. The end result here is you want to be able to smoke your pipe as you wish without the thing going out, so you don't have to keep lighting it, or keep bothering with it. You just want to enjoy the experience. So anyway, it's a simple thing, but it's not as simple as just throwing it in there. All right, so if you can remember those 3 little things, you'll be fine. That's how you pack a pipe. So that's all, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.